right, everyone, here we are with ticker symbol OCGN, Ocugen Inc. And before we jump into this chart, I want to say welcome to all the first-time viewers and investors. Welcome to the channel, Invest for Tomorrow. To all the subscribers, welcome back, and let's jump into this chart. But before we jump into this chart, I ask that you guys share this with all your friends and community. Share the link to the video so they can receive this insight as well. The more informed investors are, the better equipped they will be for the next trading day. So I really appreciate that. And if you find value in this, don't forget to hit that like button for me. So here we are with Ocugen. I stated yesterday at these lows of about 162, 163, give or take, that if they got broken through, this could be on its way down to newer lows significantly. Now, we did use this support because we wanted to watch it carefully, and it did get broken through, which we're going to talk about in just a moment and talk about our new support. But this didn't break through the lows that were the most important for this to actually break down to newer lows. So it held itself up pretty well. Then we talked about the highest point here on the higher spectrum of things, which was 271. Super important point, 271 to 270, give or take, for this stock to hit newer highs and start to work its way up. So yesterday's resistance and support was pretty narrow, and we've had a lot of volatility and a little bit more volatility than my liking, but the stock is doing really well at holding itself up above this low and working its way back up. Obviously, not in the way that we would expect it, but taking, a slight pullback and working its way back up with momentum. Now, we want to see if the bulls can continue this, because we're in a state where things are going sideways, right? It looks like it, but when you really look at things zoomed out, we're going downwards. We're going downwards, even if you connect this line with this line and those peaks up here, right? Each peak as we see it. Now, we want to see if this is going to turn into a peak or if this is momentum. And excuse all the drawing, but I hope you guys are following me here. And my drawing is terrible, but I did want to illustrate so that you guys can see the bigger picture here and what's going on. Now, the stock is doing well, though, at holding itself up from these lows. If these lows get broken through, 162, 163, we could start to see this kind of eat away this lift off here, which was very volatile and very, very upward movement. I mean, it was like 10 times where it was at. It went from 30 cents to $3, but we need to keep it in mind that right now about 50% of those gains have been eaten away, and we're kind of sitting around the 70% benchmark. But it's getting eaten away slowly in that direction. Again, I drew too many lines, and I don't want to confuse you guys. Excuse my drawing, guys. But again, I hope that you guys are understanding what I'm trying to say and what we need to watch for. So 162, as long as it holds itself up from there, we're in good shape for the bulls to have an opportunity to come back. Obviously, right now, in a very subtle way, the bears are winning. And when I say that, it's because of the fact that this is being pulled down. Even when the bulls appear, the bears appear and pull it down. Bulls slightly appear, the bears appear and pull it down. And now the bulls are appearing. Could they continue this momentum? Or are the bears going to appear again? And we're going to see the same effect that we're already seeing, that it drops, comes back up, drops, comes back up, drops even harder, comes back up, drops even harder. And we're going in that downward direction in a very subtle way. Now, if it stays above 162 and it doesn't break through 270, 271, and it continues this sideways movement, then we could start seeing and saying that the stock is consolidating. And that's a healthy consolidation if it happens over time, because it could be in the preparation or in a setup to start to work its way up. So that's something to watch for as the days roll out and come forward. So we got a lot of things to see here, and also follow the news, on what's going on with Ocugen, or things proceeding forward, because they have a big opportunity with a pharma that is a biotech company in India doing a cocktail of a vaccine the traditional way with an inactive form of the coronavirus in it, right? I'm not a scientist, I'm not a doctor, but to me and my just simple common sense, it seems like there's a big opportunity there because that's what people know. And it's also a big opportunity for investors to be attracted because it's not that new technology, mRNA, that we are seeing now and there's uncertainty with. And then there's still that risk and uncertainty with this cocktail, right? Because nothing's perfect, but it's what we traditionally know in the form of science and also investors of previous investing opportunities and other vaccines and stuff. So just as science as we know it, this opportunity with Ocugen seems big, and they're trying to come distribute it here in America through Ocugen, this India company that's a biotech firm. So big things, and just to see it and read articles on it, right? When I saw those words in the article, this is something you want to keep on your watch list. This is something that's doing things the traditional way and using an inactive form of the coronavirus. Vaccines both start with V, but we're talking about one's one thing and the other's another thing. Vaccines done in this traditional way is something that takes a little bit longer, and Ocugen found this biotech company that has taken their time. It's taken them almost a whole year to probably get this going and rolling, and there's still some room for this to continue, probably testing and stuff, for it to finally become something that can become FDA approved. But there's a big opportunity with something that's known from a traditional standpoint and the way they're doing it instead of this new technology, which is a big thing. Don't get me wrong. What Pfizer, or Pfizer, however you want to go ahead and pronounce it, and Moderna went ahead and did with this new technology that's a big innovation moving forward, but we're not too sure about how that works, right? As communities are, as investors are. A lot of investors took the shot at it and took the risk without really knowing too much about what was all of that, but they just knew it was innovative. And innovation means disruption, and disruption means in the markets, which means speculation and hope and excitement, which attracts more investors, which means the stock can go up. Now, Ocugen is in a state of speculation. There's no confirmation. There's no 100% guarantee yet that those things will fall through. But if they do, there's a big opportunity again, because going back to how investors if you think about it, investors are humans and we like things done a certain way, or the way we know it, right? And we know that the traditional way of vaccines is using, right, the inactive form of a virus and putting it into the cocktail, and then it actually helps protect, against that particular virus. And on the article, which I'm kind of rambling a little bit more than I should about this, but I'm remembering everything and I want to share it for anybody that hasn't seen it. In the article, it said that this cocktail can actually protect from the evolving COVID-19. So not just COVID-19 right now, but even multiple forms of the COVID-19, which is as it evolves and mutates, which is what typical vaccines have always done due to the fact that they're done in the traditional way. So, from my understanding, it's going to attract a lot more investors, as you can already see it in the charts. But if it becomes something official and it actually becomes something that will be distributed, I think that not just investors buying into the stock will actually be attracted to it, but also medical facilities and medical distributors using the vaccines to go ahead and administer them are probably going to want to use that if it's effective and it's the traditional way as we know it, right? So it makes a lot of sense in that perspective, from just knowing the way that psychologically how humans are. They like doing things or prefer something that they know rather than the unknown, right? But it depends on how you're trying to look at it, right? I'm not, like I said, I'm not a doctor or anything like that, but Ocugen is onto something. That's what I want to just summarize. I could have just said, guys, Ocugen is onto something instead of that whole entire rambling. But I hope that it means well to someone, and someone that didn't know about that can kind of understand what I'm trying to say. And if you guys aren't understanding what I'm trying to say, I apologize. And for those of you that are, please let me know down below if I'm making any sense. If I'm making any sense. And those of you that aren't understanding, comment down below, and hopefully one of us, either myself or any investor that's understanding where I'm trying to go at with this, is more than welcome to go ahead and share that insight and clarify it for you. But it just makes sense that it's done the traditional way, and there's opportunity there for distribution, and it's going to attract and medical facilities and then people that administer the vaccines to probably want to use it if it finally gets over to the Americas and it actually does what it does and it gets FDA approved and tested and everything. I mean, it's a big deal. The new innovation by Pfizer and Moderna, big deal as well moving forward for the future of the way vaccines are going to be made. But the traditional way, it seems like something that more investors will be attracted to. Not, like I said, not through just the stock. I'm talking about in general, because investing isn't just through the stock. There's so many other things that come into play, like funding and actually administering this and getting it out there and so forth. So big deal, big deal, big deal. So let's see here. Our support here is 186. If it gets broken through, we have 162 as our next point of reference. This is a newer low that has been hit after reaching these highs up here of 270, 271. And we need to watch this carefully. If it breaks through the 50-day moving average, which is 216, we want to watch how it's behaving between 216 and our support 186. Are the bulls trying to reappear, or are the bears tearing this one down? If 186 gets broken through, this can definitely be on its way down to newer lows and newer support levels. And then we have 162 to watch carefully. Now, we are below the 50-day moving average as of right now. The 50-day moving average has actually moved up just a bit to 17, and the price right now is 213. So we want to watch this carefully. We want to actually observe how this is going to react the next couple of hours. And like I said, if it's going to continue that up and sharp down, slightly up, and now we do another sharp down, and we're suddenly, very subtle, going in a downward direction. So we want to watch that, like I said, very carefully, and that's why we have these support levels to watch and pay close attention to. So let's see here our resistance. This resistance needs to be broken through and turn into a support. 228 needs to be turned into a support. Very important for every single investor to be aware of this. 228 has to be broken through. Now, if they accomplish this, the bulls, they turn this into a support. They can pull further away from the 50-day moving average. They have the next resistance level up here, which is the highest point before the fall at 243. And then they have 271 as their next goal. By pulling further away from the 50-day moving average, they can get deeper into bullish territory, hitting newer highs, and continuing this momentum of recovery and gaining control over the chart back in bullish territory. So 228 definitely needs to be broken through and turn into a support. As always, if you found this video helpful and informative, please do so and subscribe. Don't forget to click on the bell to turn on all notifications and not miss a single video that I post. Share this with your friends and community, and don't forget to hit the like button to let me know you watched this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and let's make some money.